Hello, future New York State educator. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to write the first essay for your Educating All Students exam. So here I am at teacherpreps.com, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that button, go to our test prep finder, Educating All Students, find the exam that you need to take in order to get some test prep so that you have a one-stop shop of passing your exam. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you click the blue button that reads Get Test Prep Now. If you have already enrolled, just click the Login button, and this presents our exam preparation materials for U.S. teachers to pass their state certification exam. And what we want to do is we want to find the Educating All Students test prep, because that's the test we're talking about. That brings us to our test prep roadmap, where you have all of the links in an easy to use place, all in one spot. And here is about the exam. We have created a video, the intro video, all about the Educating All Students exam. So if you haven't looked at that yet, go check that out on our YouTube channel. Also on the webpage for Educating All Students at teacherpreps.com. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to write your essay so that you get a passing response on your first or your next try. So here are the test prep links. For example, if you are going to be studying reading assessments or foundations of communication, just click those and that will bring you straight to the study guide that has the video study guide, and then at the very bottom the timed practice test, which is a great resource to get prepped for your exam. However, like I said, in today's video, this is all about the essay section. So let's just jump straight into our essay workshop tutorial video, and let's just do a little bit of reading, and after that, I am going to share with you our practice essay, which at the bottom, you can actually type your real response into our essay prompt and get instant feedback and a real grade based on the same rubric and criteria that you will be assessed on test day. So let's just have a look at how you're going to be assessed. So for Educating All Students, you are going to receive a score out of 4. And if you receive a B for blank, that means that you didn't fill anything in, which usually happens when someone runs out of time. You don't want that. Also, you can get a score of U, which is if you type something totally not applicable to the prompt that you're given. You'll get a score of U, which means off topic or unreadable. A score of 1 demonstrates minimal understanding. A score of 2 demonstrates partial understanding. A score of 3 demonstrates a generally good command of the prompt that you're writing about. And the score of 4 is the best. That's what we're shooting for. And this demonstrates a thorough understanding for the content, skills, and specifications of the essay prompt that you're given. Now remember, your Educating All Students exam comprises of 3 constructed response questions, and all of them you'll be writing between 150 to 200 words. So let's jump straight into this. What I want to do is I'm going to read this essay prompt to you, and I want you to follow along. So make this an interactive tutorial, follow along, try and write it. And if you already have not, make sure you get the teacherpreps.com test prep so that you can type your response in here and see if you would pass on test day. Now, just a quick note, let's go over to the official testing agency PDF. And what I want to do is I want to go to Control Find and just type in the constructed response, because here on this chart we can see that you'll receive a total of 3 constructed response, and the first is about diverse student populations. Second is all about English language learners, and then third, your third essay is all about students with disabilities and other needs. So of course, our test prep follows this same structure, which just means that it is an excellent tool for you to prepare with. So here's our second prompt, our second essay, English language learners. And just as the official testing agency stated, the third essay is all about students with disabilities. Now, I'm going to be making a video for each of these. Just wanted to show this in the first video. However, let's go back up top here and let's see how we can tackle, how we can master your diverse student populations essay prompt. So one more time, I'm going to be reading this, and as I do, follow along with me so that you can make this interactive and more valuable for your preparation as you get prepped to pass your Educating All Students exam. Here we go. Exhibit 1, this is a class description. So Miss Teagan teaches a 7th grade social studies class in a diverse urban school. Her classroom is a microcosm of the city's multicultural landscape with students from a wide of ethnic backgrounds, including children who are recent immigrants, several from mixed race families, and others who are first generation Americans. The class also includes students with different learning abilities, including some with IEPs or individualized education programs for specific learning disabilities. Now we have that class description. We kind of know the context of the classroom, and it looks like here our prompt has in exhibit number 2, which is Miss Teagan's teacher's notes. Let's have a look at this. Miss Teagan wrote, "Today, as I observed the dynamics within my 7th grade social studies class, I noted several instances that emphasized the fragmentation along cultural lines. Despite our classroom's rich diversity, it's apparent that students are forming cliques that reflect their own cultural backgrounds. This division is especially noticeable during group activities and discussions where interaction should ideally cross these self-imposed boundaries. I've also noticed a marked hesitancy among some students to share their cultural heritage, which seems to be impacting not only their engagement but also their learning experience. This reluctance could stem from a fear of being misunderstood or stereotyped by their peers, which is something I need to address more directly in my lessons." And lastly, we have this final paragraph. "A particular concern of mine is the integration of students who are recent immigrants and still grappling with English language barriers. These students tend to be more isolated and engage less in classroom discussions, which hinders not only their language development, but also their ability to connect with peers." And finally, we have in exhibit number 3, this is the lesson plan, and it looks like we have a topic, standard, lesson objectives, materials that Ms. Teagan will use, the activities that she will work with in order to implement the standards, and then finally the assessment. Overall, it looks like a really nice lesson plan. It looks like we are in the social studies lesson here, and then finally we have our essay prompt. And on exam day, you can expect to receive a prompt just like this that will have you to do 3 tasks for you to complete. So let's read these. Task number 1 is to identify one issue related to student diversity that Ms. Teagan should address in her instructional planning related to the lesson, okay? And then the second thing that we need to write about is we need to describe one strategy that Ms. Teagan could use to address the issue that we identified in task number 1. And then 3, explain why the strategy that we described earlier would be effective in facilitating student learning. Now, what you want to do is just make sure that you understand what you're writing about. We have Miss Teagan, 7th grade, social studies, very rich diversity. Sounds like a great class, but the thing that I read, and I like to summarize in my own head before I just start typing, it seems like the Miss Teagan noticed that certain students with certain backgrounds are grouping together, but we know that it's important for all students to learn to work together. So that's what we're going to be writing about. So the great thing about teacherpreps.com test prep is that we have an AI essay grader where we trained a model specifically on the same standard and rubric that you'll be scored on test day. So it's a great tool to evaluate your readiness on the writing portion. So I'm going to begin writing. I thought that this would be a really useful video that I can just do live and try and see what grade I would get so that you can prepare better for your exam. So here we go. First things first, I need to identify one issue that we read about. So I'm just going to start to type here. Let's go, Miss Teagan faces a significant issue that is the division of. Now I just want to let you know that if I accidentally click enter or the return key on my keyboard, this will automatically submit this. So what I want to do is actually, I like to personally not type right there just because it can be frustrating if you accidentally click that return button. And I like to just click the cut button and then go to Microsoft Word, Notion, Google Docs, whatever you like to type in. I actually type it right in there and then copy and paste it back into our AI essay grader. All right, so Ms. Teagan faces a significant issue that the division, let's go here, let's go back, along cultural lines. Let me go move this here. There we go. Cultural lines. Let's see, what do I want to say? Cultural lines during group activities. And remember, if you get caught up with grammar or spelling, your test administrators are not evaluating you on those skills, but if you see a mistake of spelling, for example, you want to try and correct it. All right, so group, let's say activities, which can hinder effective interaction and understanding among students. Notice how I'm getting straight and directly to the point so that your testing scorers know that you can clearly identify the problem right from the bat. So this fragmentation, let's say, is particularly evident as students tend to form, let's say, groups with peers from similar cultural backgrounds. Let's do a little bit more. So limiting their exposure to diverse perspectives. Okay, good. That's going to be my first paragraph. That's me answering the first task, which is to identify one issue. Notice how I clearly laid it out so that it is easy for the scorer of the exam to say, okay, this person identified task number one clearly and simply. Now let's go to task number two, which is to describe one strategy that Ms. Teagan could implement in order to resolve the issue. So let's go back here. Let me think here. What could we do? Okay, so I'm going to start by let's say to address this issue, comma, Miss Teagan could, let's say, implement a strategy of structured, let's say, group rotations. I like that. Rotations. And then let's, describe why this would be effective. So this approach involves systematically, let's say, changing the composition of student groups for each project or activity, kind of like whatever they're working on. Okay, and then, furthermore, by doing this, each student, let's say, will have the opportunity to work with a variety of classmates. I could probably build on that a little bit. A variety of classmates from different cultural backgrounds throughout the, lesson, term, unit, chapter. And this method encourages students to kind of like step out of their comfort zones and build more inclusive classroom, say, experiences. Okay. All right, great. So now I'm really happy with task 1 and 2. And then what I want to do is the test administrators want us to go deeper. Now they want us to explain, show our pedagogical understanding and knowledge of teaching in the classroom, why this strategy that we just recommended in task number 2 or paragraph number 2, why this would be effective in facilitating this issue of similar types of students from similar backgrounds grouping together. So how can we kind of fix the issue, make the classroom better so that all students in the classroom learn and have a great learning experience. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to tab down, and I'm going to, let's say here, let's go down. I'm going to start. This strategy is effective because it not only promotes diversity, diversity and inclusion, but also helps students develop key social skills such as, say, empathy. I think that would be correct. And communication, that would definitely work as well. And also, let's say, teamwork. All right, now let me go a little bit deeper here. Furthermore, by experiencing diverse viewpoints, students can gain a broader understanding of the world around them. What else if I want to say anything else? Let me do one more sentence here. Remember that this response needs to be between 150 to 200 words. I bet it's about that, but let me put in one more sentence to sort of solidify my recommendation for this classroom. So, implementing structured group rotations can transform the, let's say, classroom dynamics from segregated groups. Oops, sorry about that, folks. Rotations, there we go. Groups to a cohesive kind of unit classroom so that they're all together, fostering learning environment where all the students feel valued and understood. I love it. Okay, so this to me looks really good. Now, on test day, you will want to be familiar with how long 100 words is compared to 200 words. And so what I like to do while I'm online, I'm preparing, I'm practicing, I like to go to this website. I think there's a lot of websites like this, but this one happens to be wordcounter.net. I'll just type that right here, wordcounter.net. And this is just a great way that I just copy and paste, and it shows me how many words this is. So this is 186 words, and just as the official testing PDF shares, is that these need to be 150, let's go here, to 200 words in length. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to copy and paste this directly into the Teacher Prep's AI essay grader, and I'm going to double check, make sure it looks all good to me, and then I'm going to click submit. And this is the moment of truth, as our AI essay grader will give us a response. Remember that the top response is a 4. Let's see what I received. I got a 3. Yes, that's why I actually love these AI essay graders, because they are very strict, and getting a score of 4 is actually really hard. And if you have ever taken a teacher certification exam yourself, you'll know that the test scorers are not easy. They don't give an easy grade. And so what you can do is you can take this score, we provide you feedback. Your essay correctly identifies the issue of cultural division during group activities observed by Ms. Teagan, and proposes a strategy of structured group rotations to address it, to enhance your response. And this is what this is what I really need to look for. And when you use this tool as well, you can do the same. So next time I want to, or it looks like I need to, consider providing specific examples or evidence. You know what, that is absolutely correct, and I would agree with that. So from Miss Teagan's notes, so on my response, I should have said, according to Miss Teagan's notes, something, 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 right? And I should have tied it back together. So these are the types of things, this is why I like this test prep so much, is it because if you are planning to take your exam without this AI essay grader, you're basically sort of shooting in the dark, where you can look at, for example, our essay prompt, and you can say to yourself, well, I'll just write that on my own, but there's no one to grade it, right? And so with this, it actually allows you to say, am I or am I not ready for test day? I really appreciate you watching this. Thank you so much. If you valued it, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, just go to www.teacherpreps.com and log in by clicking this blue button, or get instant access by clicking the blue button, and then log in just by clicking the login button. Thanks, folks, and I'll see you in lesson number 2. Good luck on your preparation.